Alicia Starks, Ernesto Centaya, Zoe Grenfell, Kay Daniels, and Lisa N. Wong. We'll revisit each of their looks in a moment, but our social media has been on fire all week long. Everyone's been talking about each of the creations that you put me in, that you brought out in your collections. First of all, let's take this moment in. Congratulations. And I say that because all the time I have people coming up to me saying, one day I want to dress you. I'm going to dress you. You said, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to do it. And you sent in your collections, and that's a big move. Now, I have a surprise for you. When we launched this series in 2019, my beloved friend, Andre Leon Talix, was our mentor. He came into this building and gave advice and gave wisdom. So this is our 5th season of our show. And the number 5 represents curiosity, freedom, and grace. And I really wanted someone who represents that to give you all advice and to mentor you. Well, a legendary fashion executive wanted to be here to celebrate you and your work. Take a look.
Kenneth Cole, Tom Ford, Michael Kors, Tommy Hilfiger, Prabal Gurung. They are some of the greatest names in fashion, and she is the woman who brought them together for fashion's biggest event. Fern Malice is a legend among fashion legends, and while you have never seen her work the runway, she is the reason your favorite designers are there, as the woman who created the one and only iconic New York Fashion Week. And it's not just the designers who want to be at her side. Serena Williams, Brooke Shields, Paris Hilton, Billy Porter, Renee Zellweger, Sam Smith, and Whoopi Goldberg. All admirers of what Fern has accomplished and respect her genius. Fern's work revolutionized New York's fashion world. And in 2014, she was inducted into the first Business of Fashion 500 Hall of Fame. And now her popular Conversation series at the historic 92nd Street Y in New York City gets the top names in fashion to open up.
I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew the woman I wanted to be. And I became that woman. And I became that woman through fashion.
Designers like Diane von Furstenberg, Zach Posen, Norma Kamali, Brandon Maxwell, and Christian Siriano.
I just want to tell you, thank you so much for everything that you've done, everything that you're doing, all the doors that you've opened. Where would American fashion be without you? Where would I be without you? I wouldn't even have a fashion week to show at. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your presence in my life, your presence on my front row every season, and I can't wait to see you next week.
Get ready, designers. Your mentor is on her way out.
She created and started New York Fashion Week. Please welcome the godmother of fashion, Fern Malice. Come on out, Fern. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh, mwah, mwah. Welcome. I mean, you are the bar, as they say, when it comes to this. I'll tell you. A while back, I was at dinner, and I saw Fern, and I said, I have one request. Can you please come and participate in our up-and-coming fashion design series? And with all of the designers seeking her counsel, she said yes. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Who could turn you down?
Well, I'm happy you did it. When I look back at your legacy, when you look back at your legacy and they call you the godmother of fashion, and when we see New York Fashion Week kicking off, you started the whole darn thing. 20 years ago when you made Fashion Week an event in New York City, what was the goal?
The goal was to elevate the fashion industry, and the goal was to find safe, sound places where American fashion designers can have shows, because it all started with a disaster. This was a week before I started my job as the executive director of the CFDA, and Michael had a show in a Chelsea loft space, concrete raw space. And you know at fashion shows, if you put the bass music on, everything shakes, it's so loud. The ceiling shook.
Wait a minute, that's the ceiling on the floor?
That's the plaster from the ceiling.
Wow.
Okay,
It
well-
started to come down on the runway onto the shoulders of Linda, Naomi, and Cindy, the one-named supermodels. They kept walking, but when the plaster landed in the laps of two of the most important fashion editors in the front row,
Oh, gosh.
from the International Herald Tribune and the New York Times, they wrote, "We live for fashion, we don't want to die for it."
And you live for fashion. It's in your blood. Your father was in the industry, accessory designer. So you have seen from the ground up, if you will, what it takes to make it in the fashion world.
Well, you know, you don't even realize it when you're growing up. You just listen and observe. My dad was a salesman for scarves, so I know how to tie a scarf 800 ways. His brothers were in sportswear and textiles. And I took every chance I could get when a day off from school to go to work with my father. But I fell in love with the
You
industry.
fell in love, and you also fell in love with the designers who were trying to find their voice, their lane, their space. And you create this moment where everyone in the world wanted to be at the tents in Bryant Park. At the height of it all, was it surreal to see?
It was totally surreal. Bryant Park, for me, I used to say it was the Ellis Island of fashion. If you wanted to be in fashion in America, you had to come through the tents.
Wow.
And it was global. It elevated the New York and American designers. We finally were able to compete with Paris and London and Milan. Nobody could put New York in second place. It changed the entire global fashion industry.
And you have been, I know you're very busy. You have your fashion icons with Fern Malice, where you are in conversation with the biggest names in fashion. But now you have these upcoming youngsters in the building. One who started their fashion career at 58 years young. And I know that you talk about inventing your own opportunity.
Absolutely.
And is this the moment where this is what you're talking about, invent your own opportunity?
Absolutely. You are so lucky right now. You have an incredible national platform, international platform. What Tamron has done here with the Tam Fam and giving you this opportunity is, I mean, you can't buy this for anything. I mean,